Welcome to King's Cages Network News. This is Andrew King reporting to you from our offices in Florida. Thank you for tuning in. As many of you know, January is a very special month. Richard King passed away January 30th, 2019. He was not only a birdcage guy, he was my father and best friend. He was also a legend in the avian industry. This is a second of a 5-video series this month that is dedicated to his memory, Voyage to Africa. In last episode, we left off with Rich bringing in parakeets from Oklahoma and distributing them to pet stores all over the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. Many of these stores started pulling out one of the most famous books at the time, Parrots of the World, asking if Rich would be able to get many of the beautiful exotic birds that were pictured. One bird in demand was the African gray parrot. This was a huge undertaking in the mid-70s. Where would you even start to look? There was no internet, there was no Google, and Rich took it head on. Rich was doing business at the time with Jeff Levy and Mark Marone from Parrots of the World in Rockville Centre, New York. Through this connection, he met a woman who said she knew a man named Leslie in Ghana, West Africa, that may be able to help Rich with his quest. Rich spoke to Leslie one time on the phone, and off Rich flew to Ghana, West Africa. This worked out great, due to Sesame Street being 6 months of filming a year, so he had 6 months a year to be like Indiana Jones and travel on one of these adventures. Interesting fact, when the young African gray parrots were secured in Africa, they all had no red tail feathers. The people who would get the birds would pull out the red tail feathers and sell them to the shamans, who used to use them for traditional medicine and decoration. Believe it or not, they would get more money for the red tail feathers than for the African gray parrot itself. This was not an issue though. The birds were not harmed. Brought into the United States, put into quarantine for 30 days to be sure the birds would not affect the poultry population with disease, then sold with short 1-inch red tails to many of the stores in the United States. Richard loved these adventures, mainly for the challenge, love of the birds, and education. When he was told something would be impossible, he made it possible to prove them wrong. Anyone who knew Rich personally would 100% agree to that. He had the most successful and healthy shipments of African gray parrots. This was due to his deep love for the parrot. He would only feed the parrots what he would eat, the freshest fruits only. His motto was, if I wouldn't eat it, the birds will not eat it. For the baby parrots, I remember making the formulas for them. There were no instant baby powders like there are today. We would use beech nut stages, infant baby food, mix it in huge blenders with fresh fruit, peanut butter for protein, Nutri-Cal, which is a gel that provided extra calories and vitamins, along with applesauce for easier digestion for the baby bird. This was the 70s. The avian industry was in its infancy. Rich also had help from Mark Marone. They used common sense and ingenuity, and it worked. Mark is still in business today. Mark came up with many of the medicines and did much of the diagnosing of the birds at that time. On one of his 15 trips to Africa, my father brought back a few pieces of raw gold. And he actually took one of the pieces of raw gold and he mounted it on a little charm for me. And I wear this when I'm not wearing the King's Cages bird logo that you usually see me with. And this gives me memories of him from many, many years ago. Be sure to tune in next week for video 3 in the 5-week video series, Beyond Africa. Remember, for this entire month of January, all wholesale orders of $3,500 or more, prepaid at the time of shipping, will get free freight anywhere in the continental United States. For our distributors, any order that's $10,000 or more will get free freight in the continental United States. And for our retail friends, all orders 10% off. This month only, January 2022. So, are you guys ready to see who will be the winner of this week's Wheel of Profit? Okay, Mr. Dan Pauly, let's spin that wheel. Let's spin the Wheel of Profit! All right, let's spin that Wheel of Profit.
Congratulations to Chris from Parrots for Patriots in Vancouver, Washington. You just won $300 in King's Credit. And make sure you get those orders in next week so you can be entered into King's Cage's Wheel of Profit, where you could win 2 of our small Java playstand trees and 24 Java multi-branches in size medium. That's over $1,000 retail value. Back to you, Andrew.
Be sure to get your orders in this week so we can include you in on King's Cage's Wheel of Profit. For King's Cage's Network News, I'm Andrew King. Be sure to join us next week for episode number 3 of 5, Beyond Africa. Have a great and profitable week. Speak to you soon. Thank you.